Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Chat GBT. This is a doozy of an episode this week. I think this is the first student testimonial we've had here at the Academy, which is absolutely awesome. I'm your host, Professor Tom. Professor Gabby, Professor G is hot-footing it in shortly, but really importantly, we have to give their testimony what is your name?
My name's Joey Russell.
Joey Russell. And what level are you in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu here at Gracie Barra Tooting?
I'm a white belt, 3 stripe.
White belt, 3 stripes. So we've got a few questions for Joe, just to talk about him in Jiu-Jitsu, but him also himself and how Jiu-Jitsu has formulated itself into his life. So we're going to kick off with the first one. It's a very straightforward, easy one. So, what originally drew you to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, firstly, and therefore what made you choose Gracie Barra Tooting specifically when you decided to step on to the mats?
My first thought is the first time I see a submission, and I thought, what was that? Was John Jones submitting Lyoto Machida, standing up with a guillotine, and he dropped to the floor lifeless. I said, what was that? And from then I've been really interested watching it. That was a long time ago. I didn't think I could do it. I thought you had to learn it from a young age. Going through sobriety led me to a door that led me to this door, which is Gracie Barra Jiu-Jitsu. Which
we'll go on a little bit deeper sooner on. So, were you interested in fight sports?
Yeah, I always was drawn to it. Whenever there'd be MMA or boxing, more MMA, my whole attention would be on it. I'd be fascinated. I would be trying to see what the next move was, even though I had no clue about what was going on.
So was it more like striking, or was it grappling?
It was everything. It was the being able to keep distance. It was the striking with hands and feet, and then when the distance got closed, all I knew about was takedowns, but then submissions was a big eye-opener. I never knew what the submission was, and then I'd hear the name and I'd remember it. I'd go, okay, that was that one.
Joey Rogan screaming it.
Yeah, literally that. And I was just fascinated by it. I just always wanted to do it, but yeah, I never took the first step.
Until you reached the door here?
Till January of this year.
January of this year, so what we now, that is like 8 months, just nearly 9 months into it. So that's amazing. So you stepped on, what was that like for that first experience?
Really nervous, you don't know what you're going to expect. Luckily it was great vibe, great people, great teachers.
Of course.
But yeah, there is that bit of nervousness because you don't know what you're going to expect. And obviously then the waiver comes and you're signing the waiver and you're reading all these negative things that can happen. But yeah, it's nothing like it. It's like human chess, in my opinion. It's like after that introduction lesson, it was, how do I get better at this? I want to get better at this.
That's awesome. A lot of people then see it as something different, not see it as a human chess. Or when they think about it, they think about it like it is a cage fight. So they think their first intro session is going to be, they're wearing shorts and no t-shirt, and there's going to be fists and kicks and all this sort of stuff, and it's a lot of different. So I think one of the big things, and we've said it before, is there is the anxiety of coming up the stairs. So the first big challenge and battle you face is like coming through that door. Once you've done that, the rest of it is like
it's really like that. And your little video as well helped sell me on the website what to expect when you turn up.
Yeah, exactly. If you got to. You do it all the time, so people only see it when they're in. So showing people outside exactly what happens kind of tries to calm their nerves and like that fear of anxiety of what they're actually going to expect. So
because it's there, it's definitely there.
It's worth it in that sense. So it's good to hear that it actually works, because to get that feedback is really, really cool. So your intro is done. You then sign yourself up, and you come in for your first day. You get your uniform, and then talk us through, if you can remember. And it's like, and I can't. Can I remember my first day? Maybe if I dig back through the archives, I can remember my very first day. But can you sort of describe that very first lesson? Once you put your own uniform on, once you then sanitize your feet, getting ready on the mats, what's then that feel like?
It went from being nervous to realising I'm very much out of shape, and I thought I was in quite good shape cardio-wise. My cardio was rubbish when I started this. My breathing is what I remember about the first lesson.
Yeah.
It was very loud, very wheezy.
Yeah. That has improved massively, but if you don't know how to breathe properly, then you're going to struggle because you'll gasp.
And then the next thought I had was the anxiety or the claustrophobia of having someone on top of you after you've tried to get them off and it's not worked.
Yep.
That anxiety it didn't last long, but it was quite, I gotta say I remember that being quite predominant in the fear-wise.
Yeah.
Everyone always expects if you want to get out of a situation, you can just get out of it. But unfortunately,
somebody wants to keep you in that situation.
Yeah, it's a very surreal feeling, and again, it helped me to want to come back. It helped because there's been parts of my life where you end up in a situation and you're not entirely comfortable in, and it helps you in that aspect to find the safest way out.
That's one of the big learning things I think from Jiu-Jitsu is you need to be comfortable in those incredibly uncomfortable situations in a jiu-jitsu setting, because the mat basically reflects life. If you find yourself in life in an uncomfortable situation where somebody's trying to keep you in that uncomfortable situation, you need to have that sense of presence to be aware of that, rather than having fear and panic, and being able to get out of that situation as best as you can. And the only way you can do that is to be comfortable in that situation.
And that fear and panic will run your life as well.
Yeah.
In my experience, it has anyway.
Yeah.
It takes control if you let it.
Yeah. So do you want to, if you can, are you able then just to sort of describe that and how, like that fear and panic from being in jiu-jitsu and how that fear and panic in life, they kind of mold together, but you've used jiu-jitsu to be calm in those situations, to overcome those things in your life?
Well, luckily there's not too many situations now, but I'm 372 days sober.
Congratulations.
So there's not many situations where I'm actually in an uncomfortable situation now, but it's helped me massively with like self-confidence and just being comfortable with myself, being comfortable with my surroundings. My childhood wasn't too great, so I've always had an issue about big spaces, big people. I've always had to know where I was, know who was behind me.
Yeah.
I've noticed that slowly started being chipped away. Yeah. I'm not thinking the worst thought all the time, and I really do believe it's because of jiu-jitsu and sobriety. Yeah. They both go hand in hand, but yeah, the confidence I feel build, and it's only been 8 months. 8 months ago I wouldn't have done a podcast, or I wouldn't have done a lot of things, but it's all progressing quite well. Yeah.
Lots of things in life are uncomfortable, but if you can find that sense of like presence and peace in it, then you can find the way to be comfortable in that uncomfortable setting.
Being comfortable with uncomfortable
things, and just say, that's just what it is, this is just what I do. How do I get out of somebody on top of me? I just do this. As long as I'm relaxed in that area, then I'll be able to get out of that situation, as long as I'm confident in the skills I've got in order to do that. If I don't have any skills, then I'm going to struggle. That's a lot with life and lots of other things, isn't it? If I don't know how I'm going to get a meeting with a bank manager, then I'm not going to be able to have the opportunity to then maybe realise a dream of being able to open my own business. So learning how to do things and being comfortable in those settings, I think, is really important from a young age. Would you agree, Professor Gabby, that being from a young age, kids need that ability to be comfortable in those uncomfortable settings, because life basically doesn't care ultimately?
Yeah, definitely, because at some point they will not need you anymore. So they kind of need to have a level of confidence at some point to be able to sort out their things by themselves. And also, like, when you're growing up, if you have a kid that has a stronger self-confidence, a stronger self-esteem, they will be less likely to get into trouble later, you know? They're gonna be able to do smarter decisions because they have that confidence on them. They'll be able to step up for themselves, step up for other people, stand up for themselves.
Yeah. So those are the first two questions. The third one, I think, is more specific to being here at Tooting. What has been your most enjoyable part of your journey so far, firstly? And was there a specific technique or moment when the jiu-jitsu here sort of kind of really clicked?
Yeah, so basically the jiu-jitsu is really hard, but it's not the clicking, it's using it at the right time. There's a lot of things that don't work and it'd be quite disheartening, but you'll find it's not working because you're either doing it at the wrong timing or something like that. But once I noticed that I could do the warm-up without being gassed, and then it got to the end of the lesson without like my gas tank running out, I realised that there was slow improvement. Even though I didn't really notice it, it was over an extended period when I started noticing, there's quite a few things coming together. Something I couldn't do then happens naturally. A movement that I couldn't do during lesson or a couple of lessons, it will happen naturally during sparring, and that's when I started to think, well, maybe I'm not as terrible as I think I am.
I think when you're in the moment, you can like just get absorbed by what has literally just happened and be like, this is not for me, I'm terrible at this. But if you can sit back from it and then look over the period of time since you started and see how you've improved and log that and go, well, I have actually made massive improvements. Like when you first started, Joe, we talked about you like near enough hyperventilating after the session, to the extent we get to now 8 months later, and you're regularly training 2.5 hours on a Monday, Wednesday and a Friday without a problem. It's just improved, massive improvement. So and that's all about continuation and just giving yourself the space and schedule to keep training jiu-jitsu and seeing the gains you get from it. So yeah, well done on that front.
Thank you.
And enjoyable things clearly is all my dad jokes.
No, it is really good to notice an improvement, even though, like I say, you don't notice it all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can feel like you're digressing instead of progressing, but I think that's just your human mind likes to trip you up.
And it's also, well, it's not just jiu-jitsu. They also mentioned other things about the journey that you're seeing, that you're sat here on a podcast, which 8 months ago you wouldn't have done. Your ability to feel confident in spaces where your back is to the wall, to the door, sorry, and having that ability, that skill now that you didn't have previously is also a testament to the other elements you get from jiu-jitsu, which isn't just, the gains.
There are gains. It's very hard, but there are gains. Like my body's in constant pain these days, but I've never been happier.
It's good pain.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to describe, but the benefits are endless. They really are. I keep trying to describe it, but you can't really describe it. You have to come and experience it for yourself.
Yeah. And
I think that's the only way you really understand. It's a very beautiful art as well. When you see someone flawlessly roll, and it's almost like quite mesmerising,
It is.
And yeah, that's just the goal, to get as good as you guys.
and our goal is to get as good as we can be, and hopefully help you on your journey as well. So in terms of your everyday stresses as well, have you found that's played a part?
Oh, massively. I've always struggled with mental health. I'm not shy about it. I tell anyone. I'm quite open about my struggles, but definitely life has been getting progressively easier and easier, whether that's because I don't have enough energy to overthink. It definitely has a big part in it. It's just everything's running smoothly now. I'm in a very good routine. I train as much as I can. If I can train, I'll try and be here. Yeah, and it's almost like a fear of missing out when I'm not here.
Yeah, I think
it really is.
It's a good habit to have.
Yeah, and it's nice. The community, the people, there's always a good vibe.
Yeah.
No one's moody.
That's kind of going to be my next question as well. So sort of how would you describe the atmosphere and culture here at the academy?
It's really great. It's hard to describe, but I've been to certain gyms and instantly I've realised within half an hour of being there, like, this is not for me. I know they all serve their purpose, and there's different levels, and there's competition gyms and all that, but this is like all round for technique and yeah, just for everything. I've always been interested in the Gracies. I've watched all their documentaries, and when I was searching for a jiu-jitsu gym, the moment it popped up, I was drawn to it, and yeah, I think everything happens for a reason. That's why I'm here. It does.
So what role has the coaches and the training partners played in I suppose giving you that FOMO?
Where obviously the curriculum is set out, it feels like if you miss a week, you've missed that whole week of curriculum, and then you won't get it for another 15, 16 weeks.
Yep.
That, and you get used to your jiu-jitsu pals as well. It's nice turning up. It's always the same faces. Obviously there are different people at different times, but yeah, so it's quite regular, and I've not come across anyone that I've not gotten on with or even not liked, really.
And that's quite a big thing when you have so many people.
Yeah.
So we're still growing as an academy, but to have at least 100 people, 100 adults, and to then get on with all of them.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to do. It's like anywhere else, I don't see that happening.
Walk outside the front door, first 5 people, irritating.
Yeah. 100%, 100%. It's really true, and it just goes to show. And also, the more you learn about jiu-jitsu or combat sport, the more humble you are, and the more less triggered you are. You know, it's really nice. Where before, if something would happen, I'd feel like I have to stand up for myself. Now I'm just like, get on with it.
That's a really
get on with it.
It's always that. Henna Gracie said it. It's like learning how to fight, so you don't have to fight. You kind of walk with a sense of, I'm kind of above it. It doesn't really matter. I don't need to get involved. If it does and I'm needed, if somebody comes to me, I'm a martial artist, I'm going to do what I need to do. But I don't need to. There's a fight over there. I don't need to go and get involved in that fight. Or it looks sketchy over there. I know I can handle myself, but there's no point putting myself in any sort of danger that I don't need to.
It really is. I mean, I was bullied for quite a long time of my life. I've got mental health issues and all that. So for a long time I would assess the dangers. I'd be like, well, I can't go down there, can't do that, can't do this, and it's sort of been erased, you know. I'm still aware of my surroundings, I don't do silly things, but that panic of, the panic has really disappeared. I'm really grateful for that, because it takes up a lot of energy.
It does.
Think about something that might not happen, but you've got to be prepared for all 15 scenarios. It's excessive. Even when you know it's excessive. But just a couple.
It does kind of hamstring or hamper you as well.
It really does.
And I have questions like, do you have any other tools? Have you done, I don't know, therapy or any other things that also help your mental health? Like, what would you?
I've been through over 10 years of the I was under mental health teams and therapists. I've gone through CBT, DBT, group therapy, single therapy, medications. They all serve their purpose, but I think it's a multiple thing. So the tool set that you can get from therapies, along with tool sets that I get from this and other things, they all work hand in hand with each other. So I've really found it hard, because I was doing only therapy and then I was only doing groups, but now I work it into everything. It's all pretty smooth run-ins.
I think it's very nice that you point out, like, as someone that has had the experience of doing therapy, that you're able to see that, like, there is value in therapy, but also in a physical activity, because it's very common that a lot of people who do jiu-jitsu, they say jiu-jitsu is my therapy. Wait, jiu-jitsu can help you cope with symptoms of certain, like, mental health issues, but it's not gonna sort out all the causes, you know. It can help you with the symptoms, but it's not gonna dissolve the cause. So I always think that it's important that people has this clarity, like this openness to actually see, like, no, okay, jiu-jitsu has done great for me, but maybe it would be nice to also go to therapy.
Yeah, they all serve a purpose. I mean, I agree with any help. Anything that I feel helps you. My mental health issue is a lifelong diagnosis, so it's never going to go away. But I have thought about it less and less since doing this. Before this, it was always I had to work certain tips, certain tools. Since starting jiu-jitsu, they get used less and less, but I remember the basics, like the fundamentals. So I remember it can be my surroundings, it could be an underlying triggered emotion, or it could just be a bad day. everyone has bad days, but it's just knowing the difference, to being able to like evaluate which one it might be, and then not getting stuck and just progressing.
So do you, when, I'm just trying to think of it from a jiu-jitsu point of view, when you have a bad day on the mats, do you find that kind of can take you somewhere, or do you find that literally is just, oh, that has happened on the mats, it's just jiu-jitsu?
If I have a bad day, it is while I'm here, while I'm doing it, I'm thinking, what mistake am I doing? I'm obviously doing something wrong. I've been passed 3-4 times in the same way, like I'm doing something wrong. It doesn't go past here though. The moment I leave, I still feel good. I've still had an extreme workout. I feel good mentally. It's only when like earlier when I was saying, I think I'm getting worse and worse, and it's just like, no, you're not. You're just having one of them days, and that's all it was. It was just one of them days. It could have been a multitude of things. Personal life always comes into it. I have to have a tooth out tomorrow, so that might be one of the reasons why I'm a little bit low. Yep. But yeah, it never. I don't think there's been one time when I've left here, got home, and I've not thought I shouldn't have gone today. I get home and I'm like, yes, right, let me feed and walk the dogs and just get on. Yeah.
So there's a couple of times in my life I've had those sessions where I've carried what happened off the mats, but not in a negative way. It's been more of like, how did that happen? And I've spent the night awake going through how I could have done better in the session in jiu-jitsu and stuff. And I think I'm still, when I think about it, I'm not, is that healthy? I don't know.
That was the next question that I was gonna make. No, are you sure that's healthy if it's taking your sleep away, like, and you're not resting enough? Like,
but then if that's then what I'm thinking about and absorbing myself, trying to improve on, but then not focusing on the other stuff that was potentially, that I know was still going on in my life at the same time, then maybe my subconscious is getting free time in order to work on that issue while just focusing me on jiu-jitsu. But I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
Like, my thought is the brain likes to give you a reason for how you're feeling. What you just described, I spent many nights, not funnily with jiu-jitsu, but a conversation I had or something where you might have embarrassed yourself, said something you didn't mean to say, or it come out wrong, and you replay it and replay it, and it's almost like you're searching for an answer, and the brain gives you an answer, but sometimes it's just filling that void. There's not a specific answer. It is just the over worrying that all adds up. But yeah, I've had plenty of nights when I just can't switch off, but less and less since this.
No, that's good. That's good to hear. That's really, really positive. I just was wondering, because I used to have a few other training partners, and they would, that it happened to me, and I noticed it. But then I would talk to my other training partners, and they would say that regularly occurs to them. It's like they have a bad session, and it would absorb their entire time as to why that happened, why they were passed, why they were submitted, why did that guy catch them, and why were they able to do those things then, but then couldn't do the same things against this person. And then I was like, absorbed all of their sort of being at the time. I was like, sure, is that really healthy? I wasn't really too sure. But I suppose if you're that way inclined, then potentially you're going to have that focus on anything, whether it's jiu-jitsu or whether it's
I also use like a recognition skill. So basically, whenever, I wouldn't call it spiraling, because sometimes it's quite natural to have them thoughts, but if they get out of hand and they start spiraling, it's not the end of the world. You just have to recognise that you're starting to spiral, and it's almost like a snowball effect. You start with one little thought, and then it builds into a bigger thought, builds into a bigger thought, and before you know, like, you're getting weighed down. But as long as you just recognise at any point, it don't matter how far it gets, you recognise that we've got onto this unhealthy scale. Just take a second, step back, take a breath, put your face under some cold water, and you'll find you'll have like almost like a factory reset, you know, like for the TV or the Wi-Fi, and you'll be back to normal. And it doesn't matter if that happens 10, 15 times a day. It's the recognition skill, and I feel like that can play into jiu-jitsu as well. What mistake am I making? Why am I not being able to sweep when I think I'm doing the technique right, when really you're not doing the technique right, your hand's not in the right position?
That's sort of my thought is that, like, if I didn't do that, or some people don't do that, then they come in, they learn, or they think they learn, they're not getting any better, and then they're like, oh, great jiu-jitsu session, and they go off the mats, and they haven't really learned jiu-jitsu. All they've done is made loads of mistakes and been happy with that.
Yeah, that's...
And that, he'll be listening to this now when he cuts it. I have this conversation with Professor Adam a lot about everybody's journey in jiu-jitsu is different. So when people are coming here and doing certain things, and they step off the mat and they go away and they feel amazing as a result of it, and you've just watched them basically murder certain positions and been like, I can't, there's no teaching way I can get through to them that they're doing it wrong. How do I educate them to do it right? Yet they're leaving feeling amazing, and then you think, well, that's their jiu-jitsu journey. And so it's different for everybody else.
I suppose what journey they're in, if they just come in to feel good and to get endorphins, I suppose that's fine. If they're looking to actually use their jiu-jitsu in a competition, that's when it gets a bit difficult.
I think that's different, yeah. Then you already know what's going, because those sort of people who are that way inclined who want to compete, you're not having those conversations with them. They are, why did that happen? Let's interrogate why this happened. How can I improve this for a competition-related stuff? They are on it for competition. So maybe that's it. It's like everybody's journey is different. So you have to then respect that journey for what it is for them and help them get as much out of that journey as possible. So yeah, when they're competing and they're doing for competition, then you help them get as much out of the competition-related stuff for them to help them on their journey. If it's community and having a great session, it's ensuring they have a great session when they're here. And maybe along the way, they pick up little bits of jiu-jitsu that help them keep themselves safe and stuff. Yeah.
It's also, like, in my opinion, one of the hardest combat sports to learn from scratch with no history in jiu-jitsu at all. It's like a fish out of water. It really is. So it can be really, really hard to even grasp the fundamentals. Like, I think mine's pressure. For the first couple of months, I couldn't grasp how to do something and keep pressure on. But then it comes. But like you was just saying about the competition thing, I'm signed up for Lisbon, and I'm a little bit like nervous now, because now it's not just doing it as something to keep my mental health in check and keep my body in check. Now I actually have a goal.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a little bit of a scarier feeling.
How are you managing that?
Just keep turning up. I try not to let anything fester too much. Any fault is natural. It only gets unhealthy if you start fixating on it. I sort of lived a life now like it's already fated. Whatever's going to happen is already happened, and I just need to go and go through it, you know.
That's quite deep. We could have an entire conversation on
that.
Yeah. I really believe in fate and that now, because you could say it's fate that I'm here right now on this day. And it's something I've come to believe in.
And do you think that jiu-jitsu, somehow, it also has amplified your perspectives on other subjects outside of jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, it's we was talking. We've had a conversation about the physics of things, like trying to take someone's base out when they're situated and stern, and then you got to close the knees and make them unstable. I weren't understanding that for ages. Still don't really understand it in certain positions, but yeah, it's learning different. I didn't have much schooling. I probably left school when I was year 9. You know, so it's given me the urge to want and learn more. I'm just taking it day by day at this point. I really am. If you would have asked me like 2 months ago whether I would do a competition, I would say no way.
There's a lot of mechanics and physics and body mechanics to understand if you want to deep dive into it for jiu-jitsu.
I struggle all the time. You've seen me struggling with the drills when we have to hip escape all the way to the end and back and then do it backwards. Sometimes my brain just don't compute, but I'm still a beginner. I'm very new to the game.
That's it. In some ways, we all are still. Everybody's still learning this art because it is endless, absolutely endless. So, going sort of through towards the end of our questions, looking back at who you were on day one versus who you are now, I know you mentioned your ability to breathe and your gas tank. Well, what else would you say is the biggest differences you've seen in yourself?
I'm more comfortable with myself.
Yeah.
Kind of deep, but obviously when you have mental health issues, you're not that comfortable with yourself, you know. It's always either comparing, or you feel like you should be at a certain point in your life where you're not comparing, but you see friends and family and you think, where do I fit in this? I don't think about that now. I just literally I have a good day doing jiu-jitsu, and whatever comes after that comes after that. I really think I found my sport. I've never done sports, I've never done any type of combat, but since the first lesson, that's all I talk about. Yeah. It's like, I know I have an addictive personality, but it really is.
One of the things I would say about you as a student is, and as a positive, is there are other students that I teach, and Professor Gabby probably has them as well, and they try and compare themselves to other people in certain settings. Oh, this guy does this, or this girl's able to do this against me, stuff like that. It never comes across with you. It's not about the other person's journey. It's always about you, yourself, and you within jiu-jitsu. I think that's, for somebody who started the journey, you're 8 months in, to be able to be like that, I think is really, really strong and quite powerful, and will probably keep you going further, because you know it's not about anybody else's journey, it's all about your journey. So it doesn't really matter what anybody else does.
No.
Then, I'm going to keep trying to be the best version of myself I can be.
That's what I'm just trying to get as good as jiu-jitsu as I can, and I know it's a long haul. I mean, we've rolled, and in the end, and I've said, well, so another 12 years till I'm there. And I'm fully aware that's what it's going to take, and as long as my body don't give up, I'll be here for another 12.
Yeah, I can't guarantee that. I can tell you.
Yeah. It's falling apart already as I speak.
Well, once you hit 30s.
Yeah, it's downhill from there.
Was it 30? No, I started mine. Yeah, it's not 30s. I think it's probably earlier.
Earlier.
Yeah, the people. Yeah, some of our mid-20s who've got serious knee injuries and they carry on training, that their body's letting them down already. Yeah. True.
That's the scary part.
Yeah.
That would be my fear, wanting to do it and not being able to.
Yeah. For a long period. That's the tough. That's when the real mind battles happen, and how you get through it. Yeah. So for someone listening to this who feels, out of shape, anxious or unsure about jiu-jitsu or Gracie Barra Tooting, how would you encourage them to?
I give everyone the same advice. I really do. Just attempt. Just step through the door, click on the website, set up the trial, and really just commit, because it's not going to be as bad as what the fears inside your brain are telling you. And everyone's brain always tells them the negative first. There's way more positive things that can happen than the negative. Yeah. And when someone turns up for their first session, it's obviously made known. You can tell by the belt, and you can tell obviously if you haven't seen them before. And the level of intensity that you go immediately gets half, even down to 30-20%, you know. And I really like that. Like Adam today, he had a wrist injury, and he was more than happy for me to try the submission, and I was just like, there's no point. It's already injured. There's no reason for us to push it through and then cause another injury. We're here just to learn the jiu-jitsu and have a good lesson, and that's what I really like about it. Yeah, it's not ego. And for something that can be very ego-ish, I don't know if that's a real word, but there's very little ego here, which I like, which is one of my positives.
Thank you, appreciate that. I don't have ego.
You should.
We all have ego, but we manage them healthily. That's the point.
Two scary individuals. Two scary individuals.
That's exactly what Victor said. Victor says everybody has ego. It's just how you manage it. Yeah. You manage your ego. I think I would say as well, on the back of what Joe has said about people coming for the intro, everybody knows that somebody is here for the intro. Make the person who turns up for that intro welcome. Everybody remembers their first session and what it was like. I spent the whole episode now trying to think back to my very first session, and it's daunting. It is the most daunting thing you can do, because you can go and attend a gym class and you can hide away in the corner and then nobody cares, nobody talks to you. You can do your little pump or whatever it is, you know, your weight pump or fit pump, and then you leave at the end of it and you're like, I did a workout, that was great. Nobody's connecting with you at all. You come here, you're going to be basically hugged as soon as you come through the door by people who want to get to know you and want to help you be comfortable in a setting that they know is uncomfortable when you first start. For those of us who've been at the beginning, welcome those who are just starting at the beginning and make them feel as welcome as you know they will be anyway throughout their journey here in the academy. I want to say thank you very much to Joe for giving her the time to be on the podcast, give his testimony as a white belt, but also, as he says, as an addict and struggling with lots of other mental health related issues and life issues, and telling his story about how amazing Jiu-Jitsu has been for him. And so it's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you for Professor G to asking the questions as well. It's been really, really good. So if you are interested and you aren't already a member, just, like Joe says, get the trial. What's the worst that's going to happen? You might actually enjoy it, and then you enjoy it. That's the big problem then, because you then have to make a decision.
Exactly what happened with me.
Exactly. And it's the best decision you ever make when you say yes to it. Open yourself up to Jiu-Jitsu and how it's going to change your life. Well, thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you next time on another exciting episode of Chat GBT.
Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you, Joe. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.